March 25th, 2020. I'm just coming to you with a short tutorial video. As everybody knows, we have severe shortages of personal protective equipment for healthcare personnel. And so those of us in the community are stepping up to try and do what we can to help protect those healthcare workers that are on the front lines. Obviously, short disclaimer, we know that these masks are not a perfect substitute for, the medical equipment that we all need, the N95s, the surgical masks, etc. But they are certainly better than nothing. They are reusable, and we are at the point now where nurses, physicians, etc. are having to use these because there just isn't other supplies available. So we're going to go through and show you a design that we've come up with. There are other designs out there on the internet. We've tested a couple of different things, and this is what we found that works. So we'll go through step by step on how to go ahead and make these masks. Obviously, if there's improvements that we come across, or any recommendations that you have, please feel free to comment below. And there's a link down below as well to a PDF that has the specifications for cutting the material, as well as directions on putting the mask together. But we're going to show you step by step what we're doing. Like I said, we have gone through several designs and are trying to improve as we've gotten feedback from our different healthcare facilities that are putting these into use. But good luck, God bless, stay safe, and I said everything that we can all do. This is how we do it in America. We find a problem and we fix it. So, all right. So first things first, just want to show you the finished product. Here we have, it's a double-sided mask, 100% cotton, 2-ply. Our particular model has a feature of a pocket, which can be inserted with a filter. We have some homemade filters that we'll be showing you that are, basically N95 quality. The filter then can be removed. The mask can be washed and then reused. Obviously, we've got the elastic ties, and we are using headbands for those. You can find them at your local Dollar Tree, 10 for $1. And we're getting as many of those as we can. And obviously it's got, then there is a metallic nose piece as well to allow it to form fit to the face to increase the form fitting of the mask and limit airflow in and out.
So of course there's a wide array of different bands that you can use for the earpieces on the face mask. There's patterned ones and colored ones. This one's rounded and this one's flat, and all of these work. Now what we do is these ones that have the metal pieces, we cut the metal off. And then these can just be cut in half to create the two sides for the face mask.
Okay, so this is basically what you're going to need. We have two 9-inch by 8-inch mask pieces. We have the third piece that's 6-inch by 4.5 for the pocket. Obviously the two elastic pieces for the ears that we showed you. And for the nose piece, originally we are using pipe cleaner to insert over the nose piece. Certainly you want something that is going to hold up. One of the things we have seen with some of our hospital uses that the pipe cleaner is not holding up real well with industrial washers. So we are looking at some manufacturers to make us some flat aluminum pieces that will, again, hold up a little bit better. We haven't noticed so much of an issue with hand washing. So if you're hand washing your masks, or even with a standard washer dryer in the sanitized cycle, the the pipe cleaners seem to be holding up okay, but like I said, it's just as we continue to evolve the design, something that is a little more sturdier works. Now you will want to fold the pipe cleaner back against itself and twist it up so that you don't have a sharp piece that could potentially poke through on either side, and we'll show you that when we put one of them together.
Alright, so we're going to start with prepping the pocket to be put onto the face mask. So you're going to want to iron out that square piece that we cut out earlier, and then fold in the long sides first. I mean, that's just what we like to do. Of course, you can do the short sides first, but it seems to work best. So we're going to iron down this one side, and then you're going to do the same with the other side. So we'll do that real quick. And then we're going to come over to the sewing machine, and I already did this part, and you're just going to sew down a straight line across where you folded, and then you're going to do the same to the other side. And once that is finished, you're going to iron over the short sides. Let's do that. End up with the square that's sewn on all four sides, so that when you turn it, it is finished off and there are no unsewn ends. Okay, so next up you're going to take one of your squares, and this one's a little wrinkly, we're going to iron it out. And you're going to measure out, so 1.5 inches down from the top. And then you're going to want to center it. And I found if you kind of just measure on both sides and make sure they're the same, then that works the best. I'm going to move it over just a little bit, and then remeasure the top, so it's 1.5 inches. And then we're going to take a few pins, make sure that while we're sewing it's not going to move. So we're going to take our pins, and I like to put the pins in the two top corners. So you want to pin on the two corners closest, the ones that are closer to the top of the side that we measured, and put them pins in there. And then across the bottom. And then we're ready to sew. So after we sew the pocket on, you want to sew little triangles in the corners and go around the 3 sides, and then another triangle, and this is just to make sure that the ends don't come up. And then we leave the one pocket side open to make sure it's a pocket, and we can put the filter in. So we're going to take our other piece of fabric, and the one that has the pocket sewn onto it. And so this is a directional fabric, so you want to make sure that the direction is the right side with the top opening of the pocket, and put the right sides together. And then you're just going to want to line up those edges. And you're going to start sewing at the bottom. So you see the pocket is facing up, and you want to start sewing on this edge. Okay. So you want to start sewing. You can see on the pocket side, you can see the triangles. You're going to start on the opposite side, about 2/3 of the way down, and you'll start sewing, and when you start, you're going to just double back and sew down the line. Once you get down here to the corner, you're going to take one of your elastic pieces, raise up your foot, and put that piece of elastic right at the end into the corner. Put that foot back down, and you're going to sew over that a few times, just to make sure that it'll stay in place on all of those medical workers who need it. And then make sure your needle is down. You'll lift up your foot and turn, and then go over it a few times on the other side as well. And then you can sew down this side. Make sure that your bottom of elastic is not going to get caught when you sew down the line. And once you get down to this corner, you're going to take the other end of the elastic that we just used on the top corner, if I can find it here, and then put it into this corner. And you're going to sew over that a few times, just like we did with the top. Go back and forth, and then turn it, and go back and forth a few times more. And then you're going to want to sew down here, and then with your other elastic, you'll put this in the corner, and then use the other side over here. And you're going to want to leave a few inches at the end, and you go over this, so that you can turn it inside out. Alright, so once this is finished up, we did a double stitch around here. We're just going to flip it inside out. And I like to pull on these pieces of elastic just to get those corners out real nice, so that it'll be easier when we go to iron it. And then this is about what it'll look like. It'll be a little bit wrinkly because we just flipped it inside out, which is why we're going to go over to the iron next. So here is after it's ironed. When you're ironing, you want to push out the sides and make sure that they come out as far as they can, because we're going to sew over that next. And you can see the bottom is still open, and the edges are folded in so that we can sew over that and close it up. We're going to show you putting in the nose piece with the pipe cleaner. Of course, this is just the most accessible thing for everyone to get. Now, if you have any other metals that are less likely to rust in a washer, those are going to be more usable. But for now, we're just going to use this because it's the best thing for everyone to access. So you're going to want to measure along here and kind of take the extra on both ends and just twist them in. Now this prevents the ends from poking through the fabric, and it makes a nice, like just a softer end. And then this is also how we make sure that it's going to fit in the top. So you're just going to twist it around. And then you can take this hole that we have in the bottom and push this pipe cleaner up to the very top of the mask. Okay, so once you have it up at the top, you're just going to try and push it as far as you can, so you can kind of see the shape there. And then we're going to come up to the sewing machine and sew a line down the side to hold that in place. Now this can be a little bit dangerous, just so like make sure that you're careful. If your machine catches the metal, it can break the needle and hurt the machine. So just make sure that you give yourself a little bit of space on the side and follow that line that you can kind of see around the outside of the pipe cleaner. Now this line does not need to be perfect. As long as it holds the pipe cleaner to the top, it'll be good. So after you sew the pipe cleaner to the top, you're going to just sew around the outside to make sure that it holds its shape. So just go around the square here. And if your needle does get stuck on the elastic, which it will do sometimes, just lift up that needle and you can move yourself forward. This does not need to be pretty or anything because this is for an emergency. So once you get down here, you're going to be sewing over the open hole. Make sure that you're getting in the tucked pieces. And I like to go back over it again after we go around. So I'll show you that real quick after we do this side. Just going to sew down this side so it make sure it's flat. And then finish it off. And then I like to do another line right here just to make sure that it's not going to come open. So after we've sewn around the outside, we're going to make the pleats. Now these can be any range of sizes, just depends on how large you want them. The bigger pleats mean that it's going to be more fitting around the ears and nose. And so you're just going to fold the pieces up. We like to fold them up and make the pocket part in here, just because it seems to work best and open the best. And you're going to pin those pleats in just like this. Alright, so once we've put the pins in and sewn it around, we are going to sew down the sides here. Just be careful because the pipe cleaner can get in the way. So you're going to sew down, and I double back at the top, and sew down. Watch out for your pins, right? And then I double back at the bottom. And then you're going to do this on both sides. So you do it on both sides, you can take out your pins And of course you can cut off your extra pieces, but we're just going to skip that for now. But this is the finished mask, and it can pull down underneath your chin, and the nose piece can fit around. So this is a little bit large on me because I am a child, or more of a child. So you can take some safety pins and just pin them together, and then it fits a little bit tighter on my face. But of course this is adjustable for any sort of face size. So one of the reasons that we designed it a little bit larger is so that it can fit over an N95 mask, so that it can protect that mask from getting all of those particles on it, and this can be washed, and they can reuse those masks. Alright, so this is the filter that we have. It is cut from a HEPA filtered vacuum bag, and this is 3.4 inches by 4.2 inches. This is also the same size as the 3M particulate filter, which can be ordered, although they are kind of on back order right now and not being sent. So this is kind of a homemade version. So yeah, it can be cut out of the HEPA filtered vacuum bag, and it fits into the pocket. Now when you put it in the pocket, you want to make sure there's kind of a fabric side and a more shiny side. You want the shiny side towards your face because that is the way that it will filter out the air particles, and it can just be put into the pocket. So down below we're going to have a link to, we made a website where you can access our PDF that has the instructions to make this mask, and that's at bit.ly/makeamask. And again, you can see that down in the description. I hope that this video was helpful.